Good 2 minutes. Hi, everybody!
Hi,
I almost said good morning, but it's noon.
It is noon.
Good lunchtime.
For us. Sometimes that's morning.
Yeah, it might be morning for you. I
Let's
don't know.
be honest.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah. Like, I feel like if you work night shift, do you still say, like, good morning when you come in?
That's fair.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's just a thing. Like, the start of your workday is your
Yeah.
morning.
It's like good night is always just when you're going to bed.
Yeah.
It's not, doesn't
It
technically
doesn't
mean
matter
it's
if it's night.
Yeah.
You could go to bed at 6 a.m., but you're like, all right, good night, everybody.
true.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Hi, friends.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. Hi. All day today, especially because we're both wearing red, my brain has been going from Kung Pao, but your clothes are red! Just over and over again.
That's good.
Red clothes.
Red. We've got the red on today.
That's true.
Happy Warhammer Wednesday. Okay, I was like, what if it's not Wednesday? It is. It is. Happy
Could you
Warhammer
imagine?
Wednesday.
We just whiffed it so bad that it's like Thursday morning, and we're
I
like,
don't know.
Happy Warhammer Wednesday,
Sometimes
everybody.
that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I'm never quite sure. There have been days I've been very confident about the day of the week, and I have been wrong.
This weekend has had me all sideways. Like,
Halloween on a Monday. What the fuck?
yeah, Halloween on a Monday, and then we had a meeting that we normally have on Mondays on Tuesday.
Yep.
And I have not known what day of
Nope.
the week it is all week.
Happy Warhammer Someday.
Yeah, Happy Warhammer Day.
Day. It's a war day.
War Day.
War day hammer time.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah, that's our new hashtag.
Yeah, War Day Hammer Time.
War day hammer time. And it can be on any day.
There. Anyway. We're chaos incarnate
I'm so excited.
today.
I haven't done a Warhammer live in like at least a hot minute.
It's true.
Other than Smash or Pass.
Yeah, that counts.
You know,
I
I make it sensey. but it hasn't been like in this room for
Yeah.
a Warhammer live in a hot minute.
Right. And it makes sense that we're both balls of hot chaos today, because if you read the title, you know what we're doing. Chaos! We're watching another Luton video, but this time it is the Dominion of Chaos, which I feel like is something we haven't really dug too deep into.
No, I think that like most of at least my knowledge
Yeah.
tends to be on like Space Marines, the Astartes.
Mhm.
We've gone a little bit into like Psychers and stuff,
Yeah.
but really not a lot. But
Yeah.
like there is so much with the Chaos Gods and like each of those, which
Right?
we've like delved a little bit, I think, into like what each of the Chaos Guards are and their like
Yeah.
factions beneath them,
Especially
But-
with text-to-speech.
especially with text to speech, yeah. But like never like really dug into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited
Me too.
because though I am not a heretic, I love chaos. I do. It's just fun.
Remember, she's an actress.
Yeah.
I'm detecting some untruth.
No.
I'm not a heretic. she
I'm
says.
not a heretic.
Her eyes get all big.
I'm telling you.
I am not a crook.
I want a fucking crazy ass Nixon shirt that says I am not a heretic on it.
Sydney, I see you in chat. Please write that down.
I think I begged Darian for it one time. I was like,
I'll
bitch, I
help.
know you were a graphic designer.
I'll help, man.
Are you sure?
I'll
Sure.
draw Richard Nixon if it means we can put that in our merch store. I'll do it. I'll do
draw
it.
I'll make a crazy ass portrait. I think
We'll
I
both
want it
draw
to
Richard
look like
Nixon
a
together.
propaganda poster too. I think that's how I
with the
described
dramatic shading.
it. Yeah, with like the like very I have not seen Event Horizon. It's on my list of things to watch.
It's so good.
I know.
It's so good.
I know. I've heard that from you too.
I love cosmic horror.
It's hard to not love chaos when literally GP is chaos incarnate.
It's true.
Like we live in a constant state of chaos.
It's true.
And I thrive in that
default setting.
environment. So it's like how can I turn a blind eye?
Right? Being a good guy's too easy. It's boring.
Yeah.
What's the point in being like a little Jesus freak and being like, ooh, the Emperor is so sexy? No, that's not fun.
I feel the same way about like Star Wars where I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, the rebels. And then I'm like, what, the bad guys?
Exactly.
And then I'm like, I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't
It's
know.
true.
I'm just constantly like, I like both.
See, and that's
I'm
why the
Libra.
Grey Jedi are cool. But we're not going to get into Star Wars.
We don't
lore
need,
today.
we don't need to get into Star Wars. It's not
I would
about
never
Star
shut up.
Wars today.
Today. But it could be.
Star Wars videos win.
I'm in. Let's watch some Star Wars lore videos.
Star Wars lore.
Warhammer Wednesday's
Star
canceled.
Wars-
Canceled. Canceled!
Cancel Nikki.
Yeah. Slander me on the internet.
No. We love Warhammer Wednesdays. They're gonna stay.
I know, I'm just being sassy.
We love Star Wars Saturday or Star Wars Sundays.
Okay, Star Wars Sunday would be kind of fun.
I know, it'd be cute.
It would be cute.
Anyway, those are ideas for
Maybe
next
Sunday.
time. As well as today's video being the Dominion of Chaos, I want to give a huge shout out to the person who made this 42-minute video filled with lore, history, and all the good things. Our really good friend Luton.
We love him a lot.
Yeah, we met him through reacting to one of his videos, and he was incredibly kind and welcomed us into the Warhammer community with open arms, and stops by our streams and has recently played some Darktide with us, which was super fun.
So fun.
And he's definitely become a really, really close friend of all of the girls in the channel, and I really appreciate him.
We love him.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for the really, really, like, lore extensive and knowledge extensive videos he makes, because it has really benefited the education of the girls as they learn about this kind of stuff.
Well, and he does such a good job presenting it in a fun way.
Yes.
Like, he is very informative and, is very straightforward with about a lot of information, but doesn't do the thing where it's dry and boring.
Mouth vomit.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, chef's kiss. I'll also never get over or forget him and Bricky being like, y'all are trying to parent trap us? What's going on here?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I still remember, I don't know if he cusses often. I feel like I haven't heard him cuss often, but he definitely said a couple curse words while we were playing. And I was like, ooh, let your head down.
Ooh. I love that.
Luton did a shout out of his own in the comments of his newest vid. What?
I got him.
Anyway, yeah. So it's good. We're really excited to watch this video. I don't know. I don't think I got anything else to say other than it's gonna be great.
Excited hand clapping.
I'm gonna make. Oh.
Ooh. What?
I was gonna say I should have been Papa Nurgle for Halloween, and then I was like, okay, but like, what if I did do like a really cool blacklight reactive Papa Nurgle makeup look?
You could. You
With
could also
titties.
Yeah. If you wanted to be
Put my
Papa
titties
Nurgle for
way up
Halloween
here.
though, and not be hot, you could just get one of those sumo suits and like paint it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I saw somebody recently do like a Papa Nurgle Oogie Boogie hybrid. It was another
I want that.
woman in the Warhammer community. And I didn't watch the video because I haven't had time, but I want to watch it. I want to watch it.
I want that. That sounds so cool.
Yeah. Anyway,
Now
all of these things.
So
aside,
many tangents.
Yeah.
So many tangents. Always tangents. That's why we're not allowed to be in the same room at the same time very often. It's because we're tangent people.
Yeah.
we
We're just
ramble.
too big brain.
It's true.
That's what it is.
It's
We
true.
got too much big brain up in here.
Too
Gotta
much
let
brain
it
in our
out.
heads. Yeah.
Yeah. But today we are watching The Dominion of Chaos by our lovely friend Luton.
Yeah.
And here it fucking is.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Time to push this button. Ka-chow. I like sticking my arm in your personal space.
What is that mysterious hand?
Whoa, where could it possibly be
Whoa!
coming from? Amazing. All right. I'm ready.
I'm ready. LT. Luton.
Love it.
In the grim darkness of the far future.
There is only war. War.
War! Ooh, so pretty.
Hell yeah, I love it.
Do you think that a lot of people say that things in Warhammer go, ooh, so pretty?
At least two of them do.
Will you turn up our dial a tiny
yeah.
bit? Thank you.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm listening.
There'll be no peace among the stars. Only an eternity of carnage and slaughter
Hot.
and the hideous laughter of ever-thirsting gods.
Ooh.
I was just about to pause it to say, you can't spell slaughter without laughter, and then that popped up, and now I feel validated.
Not a single time in my life have I ever realized that.
Have you not heard that?
No. That's a good tattoo.
That's fair. I didn't come up with it. I'm not that cool.
I'm gonna draw a really cool tattoo.
It has to be a clown.
Yeah. But it'll be like a traditional style tattoo with like a
Yes.
good banner.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd get
or a Warhammer tattoo.
That would also be.
Yeah. Anyway, love it. Love it already.
Let the galaxy burn.
Yes.
Absolutely.
See? How can you hear that and not be like, yeah, I'm in?
How can you be like, cool, all right.
I'm not a heretic, but like, yes, chaos.
Yeah. See, I'm just the type of person who refuses to pick sides. Yep, so I'm down for all of it.
I just say that I'm sure Warhammer art is, like, always cool.
Yeah.
But, like, these ones where, like, shit is literally exploding and everything's insane.
Yeah.
Love it a lot.
It's 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Everything's just on fire and huge and crazy. Like this fucking giant castle.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and everything is so detailed in it, too. Love it.
baby. There's a waifu in the sky.
Yeah. See, I'm like, yeah, demons, and then I'm like, shiny waifu!
Yeah! Angel wife!
Yeah.
How can you not want it all? Like titty demon?
All of that.
The
is
eyeball
what I want.
wings?
Yeah, like actual biblical angel wings.
Yeah, love it. Fucking, you ever
My
just
man
hold a
in the
sword
back.
with your tongue? Like,
With your mouth tongue.
yeah,
Your
I
tongue
want
with
it
a mouth
all.
on the end.
Yeah.
The Chaos Gods represent one of the most malevolent forces in the galaxy humanity inhabits in the 41st millennium.
Yeah.
By the 42nd millennium, these dark forces have become wide-reaching and cause destruction beyond estimation.
Yes.
They pervade reality, hanging as an ever-present shadow. Far from being disconnected from that reality, the dark entities known as the Chaos Gods have far-reaching powers and continually
dude.
threaten to impact the long-term stability and safety of not just humanity, but nearly all races that inhabit the galaxy.
See, but like, how could you look at that previous art and not be like, that's fucking sick?
Right.
Like,
Like everything else, like everything is sick.
yeah.
But when you look at that, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, you're like, I kind of want to be that guy.
Yeah.
I kind of want to be just like a bald dude with glowing eyes and like a weird hellscape. Like sometimes you're just like, I want that. That could be me.
I'm there with some of it. I like my hair.
That's fair.
This reminds me of one of those like, well, maybe it is. Those crazy ass like biblical fucking Renaissance paintings where like demons are eating people's stomachs.
Yeah, or like
and everyone's half naked and falling.
yeah, it's always the like paintings of I almost said the Tower of Babylon, but that's not the right one. The part in the Bible where there's a Sodom and Gomorrah. There we go. I got
Yeah.
there eventually.
Thank you so much for the $5 super chat.
Thank you. I grew up in a Jesus household, but I played my Game Boy through church, okay? Don't look at me. I watched a lot of VeggieTales.
I got nothing.
Hail Satan.
While many races have probably a hand in giving rise to the Chaos Gods, it's reasonable to say
Just
that
a little
humanity,
hand.
and certainly the Eldar, have played some of the largest roles in
Look at
contributing
that!
to the rise and strength of the Chaos Gods.
Oh, for
Chaos
sure.
al-
I mean, humanity is fucked up.
Yeah.
It's like, how could it not play into the Chaos Gods?
Yeah.
Like, there is good and evil in the world, and that's just, it's gonna happen.
It's true.
But yeah, fucking, look at
that.
Look at that shit.
That's sick shit.
He got Skullman head.
Rules.
largely exists not in the mortal galaxy, but in the pure energy realm of the immaterium, otherwise known as warp space. The Chaos Gods do not
Very
exist in
purple.
isolation
Very
either.
pretty.
In
It's my
fact, their very
favorite color.
existence is continually fueled by the emotions and souls of sentient beings in the material space, or materium. Warp space itself is a bizarre and terrifying place to mortal entities.
Okay, but it's
See, I
also
love
so
that.
cool. I
It's
know that we're
fucking
in
cool.
between pictures right now, but the fact that you can like see like teeth hybridized into
Yeah.
the warp, just cool as fuck.
Mhm.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
Like the warp truly is scary as fuck.
Yeah.
One of the scariest things. One of the many very scary things.
Right.
But super weird and cool.
Yeah. Just because it's scary doesn't mean it's not neat.
Yeah. I love haunted houses.
It's true.
They're scary.
Yeah. Also
It
neat.
exists
Also
without the
neat.
established laws of time and space. It is a highly unstable realm subjected to endless disturbances, not to mention
too
the
am
horrifying
unstable.
and immensely dangerous creatures that
I too have endless disturbances.
exist there. Without enlisting the skills of psychic navigators, as well as the Emperor's Astronomicon, the psychic beacon back on Terra, then using the warp to travel would be immensely dangerous,
It
if
would
not
be-
impossible.
That would be
The
fucking crazy.
I'm sorry. I just have to. I can never get over the ships. I'll never get over it. They're just so cool. It's like
Oh,
literally
okay.
a fucking city with like the bit on the front.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say that it looked very phallic right now.
I mean, it also does look very phallic. But
I thought you were like, I could never get
Yeah.
over how phallic these ships are. And I
No.
was like,
I mean that too. Just conceptually though, like the idea of a spaceship literally just being like a weird flying city with like cannons on the side like a pirate ship.
Yeah.
And the like big fucking in the front. Love it.
the thought, though, of traveling through the warp in one of these, like, I know that, like, it is, like, that's how people are
Yeah.
doing it sometimes. But, like, can you imagine just, like, sitting at your window or sitting behind the cannon
Yeah.
being like, are we gonna make it through the fucking warp?
right?
Like, what is gonna happen? It
Yeah.
it would be horrifying. Like, the most tense ever.
Yeah. Ugh. Stressful.
Yeah.
But even with the power of the Emperor behind them, humanity as it stands would be unable to function without the use of the warp. Even
Right.
with this powerful means of crossing vast expanses of space, true long-distance travel across the galaxy can still take months or even years. Within this strange realm
So
exist
weird of just,
bizarre
like,
entities
hope we don't die in the
drawn
warp.
to these psychic emanations
Could you
of
imagine?
mortal creatures. Some of these entities, like the astral spectres, are pure warp creatures who are formed by the psychic energy and ignorant actions of untrained psychers who unknowingly, while
Like-
exploring their powers,
That's
formed
rad.
these creatures in the warp. Other entities
I will never get mad at a witch.
Yeah.
Will I be mad that the witches accidentally created this absolute horror? Yes.
But they're just nasty little guys.
They're just nasty little babies.
They're just nasty little guys.
Everybody's just trying to have their best time, you know?
Yeah,
they're
they're
trying to do what they do.
He's just a little guy.
He's just a little man.
Just a weird little guy.
like the
guy.
enslavers are more ancient and are believed to have existed as far back
The
as the
fucking
war in
eyeballs. That's how
heaven.
my eyes
The
feel right
galaxy
now.
ruling the war between the Old Ones and the Catan-Necron alliance.
Fucking
The Old Ones had
crusty.
created many races
Ooh,
before, but now
love
they
their
were forced to
hats.
create
Yeah, I
beings
love the
with
fucking
powerful
stag-like.
psychic weapons to battle the nightmarish, world-ending Catan. The experimentation
So
and
cool.
subsequent learning processes of these early psychers would unknowingly disrupt
just
the,
don't
at
like
this
psychers,
time,
man.
relatively
fucking
placid
psychic
immaterial.
witches.
Their
Yeah,
psychic
they're cool.
experimentations, usually with conflict in mind, would unknowingly fill the blank canvas of warp space with hellish creatures that would violently and forcibly breach the gap between warp
Listen.
and real space. The most
Listen, even in science, you have to try things to find out what happens.
It's true.
You know, you can't ever know
It's true.
if you don't try.
It's true.
And then we just have to deal with the chaos consequences.
Yeah. Like, it's fine.
If you don't try it, you don't know. Exactly. Discovery requires experimentation.
Mhm.
I'm just a science bitch. I'm
It's
here
the whole
for it.
scientific method.
Yeah.
powerful of these being the enslavers. They would dominate, enslave, if you will, using the collapsed and transmuted
Dominate, say
bodies
it
of
again.
early cycles as portals.
Say it one
This
more
would then
time.
allow more of other warp entities into real space. And these
This motherfucker in the front. I
was
can't
just
get
gonna
over
say,
this Frankenstein-looking
It
ass
looks like
in
he's
the
got
front.
a worm coming out of his nose.
Yeah, he looks so nasty. I mean, he's got like a larva, I think, on
Yeah.
top of his head.
Also, if some people have a 5 head, this man has a 2 head.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
forehead is like this
This
big.
man straight fucked up.
Yeah.
It could be the maggot fly taking over his brain, or it could be that he's a Frankenstein-looking ass. But, you know,
You
we'll
know.
find out.
These warp beings would become one component of the downfall of the Old Ones, as their own creations then fell victim to the command of enslavers. Instead of being a tool to destroy the Catan, the Old Ones found themselves hamstrung and fighting nightmarish entities they hadn't anticipated,
even notice.
despite their vast wealth of knowledge.
Right, sometimes you
These
fuck around and then you
non-specific
find out.
undesignated warp entities would again breach real space to reap humanity, again exploiting the inexperienced and weak
Stressful.
early psychers of mankind during the warp storms of the Age of Strife.
And then
While these strange
get
and
stronger.
terrifying entities
Yeah.
within the warp are certainly unsettling and problematic
Birdman.
for mankind and the other races in the galaxy,
Oh,
they
yeah,
are
I know.
incomparable to the true
Two-headed
masters of warp space, the gods and demons of
Right.
chaos. These are devastatingly powerful entities who are formed
Right.
from the same energy that comprises warp space itself. The gods
Yeah,
of chaos
nothing will
would
quite
largely
compete
be
with that.
birthed
Yeah,
into
no.
the warp as early as
There's
10,000
no way.
years BC. Human shamans would detect and sense their malevolent presence, but even though the chaos gods would exist, in one sense, they were far less active and destructive than they are in the 41st and 42nd millennium.
I like that how it says that you could just like sense and feel the menacing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, does that just feel like heebie-jeebies?
Probably.
Like you get some goosebumps and
Yeah.
you're like, ooh, there's menace afoot.
Yeah. Menacing.
Like you're
It's
like,
got that
ooh.
menace
You
energy.
get that shiver
Yeah.
down your spine and you're
Yeah.
like, heresy. Every time I get the
Just
body
clutching
shivers,
your pearls like,
I'm gonna be like, oh,
heresy. There's a
There's a
heresy
heretic.
afoot. I was trying to say there's heresy afoot, but then my mouth went out.
maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Every time you stumble on a word or say something wrong,
Oh my god, it's heresy.
it's heresy.
Yeah, it's true.
At this early time, you could even describe them as being passive entities. The gods of chaos were more like a slow boiling pot of water,
Which is
the
its
heat
own-
being humanity
it is its own
and other
actual kind
races'
of scary,
inherently
too.
negative
Yeah.
traits and vices. Chaos itself is not a race, it's more of a collective designation and
just
realm.
rad.
It's primarily
It's
divided
so
between
cool.
four
I
gods,
felt it's
known as
cool.
Khorne,
What
the fuck, a Diablo?
Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slanesh.
Mm,
Khorne
Zeus is just a
is the
bird
blood
man.
god,
I
representing
don't like it.
war,
That's why I
rage,
always forget about him. I
violence,
block
hatred,
them out
and
of my
bloodshed.
brain.
Zeus
Like, no
is
Birdman,
the
please.
changer of the waves,
Birdman.
representing volatility of change such as overreaching ambition, plotting, convoluted scheming, and conspiracy. It also represents sorcery. Nurgle is
I did not
like
know
him.
until the breakdown in
Yeah.
text-to-speech. I did not know that they, like, represented... Like, I knew that, like,
Mm-hmm.
obviously Nurgle is, like, sickness,
Yeah.
plague, destruction,
They're
like,
kind
that
of
kind
like
of
Four
stuff.
Horsemen of the Apocalypse adjacent.
Yeah, but, like, when... I don't know, the way that text-to-speech... And even the way Luton just broke it down just here,
Yeah.
where it, like, is, like, it's over-ambition. Like, it is its own, like, sins.
Yeah.
Almost. And I find it really cool. It's like
Yeah.
a mix of the Four Horsemen plus the like 7 deadly sins personified into chaos gods,
Yeah.
and I'm super into it.
Yeah, I love it. It's good shit.
It's good. I can't.
Listen, it's interesting. You can't tell me it's not.
Yeah. I just want to learn about
It's
it.
true.
is the plague god, and it represents mortality, morbidity, and despair.
Right.
And Slanesh is the
Love
god
that.
of lust, greed, excess, hedonism, pleasure, pain, and perfection.
Look
The
at
gods
it.
of chaos are manifested through the
Yeah.
sentient thoughts, minds,
can you say
and
no to
emotions
that?
of the
Right?
galaxy's inhabitants. The collective unconsciousness
We all like a little
cumulatively
excess
shapes
sometimes.
and allows the reactive warp or immaterium to give rise to such
cool shot, too.
abhorrent
I
creatures
feel like you don't
as the
see
gods
like
of chaos.
cityscapes like that
The
often.
Right.
existing mental activity
Whoa.
across the galaxy then continues to sustain
Holy
and nourish
shit.
them. While the gods
That rules.
themselves in the warp are extremely powerful, they can only enter reality in a somewhat limited respect, such as by means of
That guy's going
possession of
through it.
those who have psychic abilities,
Ooh.
and
That would also be a good makeup look.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
Not me
Yes.
like,
Yes. Get like blacklight reactive paint for the
Yeah.
top part. Yes.
Warhammer makeup? Oh no.
Oh darn. No.
Oh, a Chaos Tarot deck with related 40k art?
Oh, that would be fucking cool.
That would be really cool. That's got to exist, right?
That has to.
It's a look.
I want that.
Yeah.
I want it to exist if it doesn't.
Fucking Cornhub, stop. Stop.
You gotta calm down.
as was
You
the
gotta
case
cool
during
it.
the Age of Strife, when mass possessions of early human psychers wrought terrible and wide-reaching damage across the colonized planets of humanity.
Okay.
The Chaos Gods
But
are also
rad.
able to form and create lesser entities from the warp
Whoa.
itself to push out into real space, essentially forging
That's
miniature extensions of
insane.
themselves. These
fact, it's
are
like
the
inside a
demons.
painting.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Whilst
That's
they
so
themselves are not truly able to enter the
Ghostbusters 2
materium,
shit.
things have become progressively
true.
more severe since the formation of the Eye of Terror, and more recently with the formation of the Great Rift across the galaxy. Toward the end of the 41st millennium, the warp had
Love
been
it.
growing
Yeah.
ever more unstable,
really
love
and
maps.
eventually
Me
this
too.
struggle would lead to
I don't know why maps are always so cool, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not often that I've seen this either.
Yeah.
But they're just rad. It's
I
rad
love
to
it.
like see everything actually like put together in one
Mhm.
space, and yeah,
I love it.
it's super cool.
a massive tear in space across the entire galaxy. For humanity in the region containing Holy Terror, the tear appears
Or
as a
I know I
scar
saw Creek
across
down there,
space.
and I
Yeah.
was like,
But for those imperial worlds on the far side of this tear in space, they now inhabit what has been designated the dark.
thank you for that $30
Whoa!
super chat.
Hi.
Holy crap! Thank you. I see you.
We appreciate you. Goddamn.
Did you almost say good morning?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Dark Imperium. So called because on this side of the Great Rift, the light of the Emperor does not shine. The Astronomicon
Dun, dun,
is not
dun.
visible to warp navigators, and travel and communication are difficult at best. Eventually, over time,
Those
things
are
will
some
become
teeth.
somewhat more
Yeah.
stable, but the massive tear across the
man's
galaxy
just got
leaves a
ahead.
continual shadow of darkness hanging over it. Where chaos had once been somewhat contained, it now pervades the entire galaxy, and nowhere is truly safe. Returning though to the Chaos Gods, while all inhabiting the same
Holy
realm,
shit.
they're generally speaking not a collaborative
nasty
or
and I
united
like it.
force
Yeah,
working
those are
together. They simply
crazy,
happen to
dude.
cohabit
Just
the
a bunch of
warp.
nasty
They're in a
little
near
guys.
constant
Yeah.
struggle and conflict between themselves, and this ongoing battle of dominance is known as the Great Game. Again,
I love that so many of those character designs have exposed midriffs.
They're just like,
I
what
don't-
if we had a crop top?
I know. I was just thinking that.
A
I'm
little
like,
heretical crop top.
yeah. Crop tops are heresy, and I'm kind of here for it.
What
I love a good
What
crop
could be
top.
more scandalous
than some abs?
crop tops?
Yeah, exposed abs. Crop that top, baby.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
10 out of 10.
game that can arguably never be truly won. There is often much discussion around what would occur if one of the Chaos Gods was somehow able to win the great game and take a primary position of dominance?
Right.
Could the warp be returned to a balance, a state of serenity, or would
You
the
know-
warp itself consume real space,
That's a
dooming
good
all mortal
question.
races?
I feel
to a
like that's more
nightmarish future
likely.
of
I don't think
chaos
there would be
and total
balance
chaos.
in
Only the
that
unending
regard.
conflict that rages on allows the gods to have their share of power. The great game is generally the primary focus of the chaos gods. Much is spoken of
Whoa.
chaos in mortal real space in the 42nd millennium. Now, especially more than ever, the talk of how severe a threat it represents. Along with the ever-burgeoning chaos cults and well-known abhorrent traitors
guy
to
with
the
the bell.
Imperium,
That's what
such
made
as the
me
Chaos
giggle
Space
too.
Marines,
Cute. I
the
like
gods
him.
themselves are far more
All the
concerned
big
with their
bell
own
bitches.
struggles against one another in the warp, and in actuality they only direct a very small amount of attention and power toward the mortal realm. There are periodic instances where the Chaos powers will set aside their differences and unite under a general banner of chaos itself. The rise of the Emperor of Man being one such time.
Yeah.
I love that she 10 out of 10 looks like something out of Hellraiser.
Oh yeah, it's the underboob and the like weird
The, like-
exposed ribcage thing she's got going on.
Everybody kind of got that feel,
Yeah.
and I like it a lot.
Speaking of a crop top, that's like the croppedest top you can get.
it is quite the crop top. He's
Yeah.
rocking one too.
It's true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of under titty in this shot.
There's a lot of heresy crop tops
Yeah.
going on.
The Chaos Gods felt his presence to be unsettling and dangerous to
Nathan
them,
Explosion
especially
himself.
after some
mean,
further
yeah, this
details,
makes sense,
which
yeah.
we'll talk about later. And so they engineered the great civil war among humanity, the Horus Heresy. But from the perspective
Right.
of the Chaos Gods, this was barely a turn of the head and a moment of their attention away from the great game. This game is also mirrored
Titty.
in their followers, as well as demons who continue
Can't
the
help
great
it.
game in or out of the Immaterium. When the galaxy was young, whilst the warp existed as a realm, it had no distinct entities as such within it. It simply was energy flowing with the sentient emotions of the mortal materium. Over time,
Right.
this energy would become more and more defined and individually distinct. At some point in this early
Concentrated.
period,
Right.
the first few
I mean, I think that's what happens when,
Yeah.
especially in times of high stress, which
Mhm.
obviously the world of Warhammer lives in.
Right.
It's high stress,
The whole
high
thing is
feeling.
high stress.
Yeah, like you're constantly scared, nervous, stressed, whatever.
Yeah.
Very high emotion, and so yeah, if it's just a constant state of revolving
Mhm.
emotion,
Of course, it's gonna like
it's
make something
gonna
like that.
explode.
Yeah.
yeah, like it can only truly hold so much of that.
Do be making sense.
millennia, Khorne would become the first to realise its ability to act independently
I
from
do
the
love
larger, more abstract disturbances
It's
in the Sea of the Warp. Later, two
big
others would follow, being
lemons.
Zinch and Nurgle, and so
He
the
does
first
have
three
the
gods
juice.
were
He's got the
manifested in
fucking
terms of
juice. You
human
can't
history
tell
by
me
the
that
end
man
of
ain't
the
got the
second
juice.
millennium.
It's true.
The fourth god Slanesh wouldn't manifest until the catastrophic ending of Eldar society as it had been known in Millennium
Damn bitch.
29. There are also a few minor
She's the
gods of
baby
chaos, the most notable though being Malice, known as the Renegade or sometimes Fifth Chaos God. Very rarely spoken of or written
Yeah,
about
I haven't
now.
heard about
Malice
that really at
represents
all.
pure anarchy, destruction, and terror.
makes sense.
Malice itself represents
Also, a very large part
Yeah.
of the stress
A big
of
theme,
Warhammer.
yeah.
yeah, like there's definitely going to be anarchy and all that jazz.
Right,
So,
especially when you've got like an entire society based on combat, basically.
yeah, well,
Like-
and everybody is kind of a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, you're definitely gonna get up in here.
Oh, right. Especially like normal. Imagine being a normal person in the
just a
Warhammer
normal
universe.
bitch. I mean, I don't think you last long.
It's true, but like I can't imagine it would be easy. So it makes sense that people would be like, "Fuck the government."
Yeah, 100%.
the chaotic nature of the warp, and because of its destructive tendencies will wage war against anything it encounters, fighting both the powers of chaos and all mortal creatures. And you may think, well, isn't that already like the other chaos gods? True enough, except
Well,
Malice
yeah.
is a purer form of that focus. And interestingly, unlike the other chaos
Interesting.
gods, Malice can supposedly be summoned into reality so long as
Oh.
enough sacrifices are given and a vessel
Whoa.
body is available for him to take possession of it.
Like,
That's hot.
literal fucking demon summoning?
Yeah, for real.
Cool?
Make a little circle on the ground.
Yeah.
Fucking-
Literally
candles.
sacrifice some shit.
yeah.
That's not crazy at all.
Not at all.
While the strength and position of the gods shifts and is in constant conflict, there is a relatively established order or hierarchy between them. Khorne,
makes
as
sense.
the first god of the Immaterium, is seen generally as being the most powerful overall, and this is
Yeah,
attributed
big
to
boy.
He
the
was born
endless acts
first.
of
Sure.
murder,
Older
violence,
child
and
syndrome.
sacrifice that have been relentlessly ongoing since his inception. They continue to fuel and keep him filled with ethereal strength, with little if any respite. Khorne is believed to have risen during the Middle Ages of man, this period known for
Oh,
its
interesting.
excessive bloodshed and savage close-quarter
I
battles,
did not
which
know
would
that.
often result in massive
That's cool.
casualties and entire battlefields being left awash with blood. Not
That
to
makes
mention the
sense, yeah.
ongoing cruelty, anger,
Actual
and savagery of
vintage
the
art.
age,
Hey!
wherein
Love
humanity would continually
Yep.
brutalize
Whoa!
itself. Each
See, this
conscious
is what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
It looks like one of these crazy
Yeah.
fucking Renaissance paintings
Uh-huh.
where everyone's just like half naked. There
Yeah.
are demons and shit's crazy.
This is definitely giving me flashbacks to all my art history classes, and
Yeah.
I'm like, love that everything's coming together.
yeah.
act of violence, fury, and bloodshed contributes to Khorne's power, whether those individuals actively follow him as a god or not. Followers of Khorne are warriors
God,
without
torture
exception.
techniques
He has
were
nor
weird.
requires no temples. He is worshipped on the battlefield of mortal
That's nice.
races.
It makes
Khorne
sense.
derives his Karneth, meaning the Lord of Rage.
Motherfucking
Can we talk about these
motorbikes?
little motorcycles?
What is this?
These little motorcycles with the knives on the wheels? How have I never seen the little motorcycles?
It's not either. Not a single time have I seen these crazy ass little motorcycles.
How have I never seen these little motorcycles? You have been holding out on me, everyone on the internet,
Yeah,
by
this
not showing me these little
This is
motorcycles.
crazy Mad Max vibes right now.
I love it.
yeah. You can buy them.
I mean, like,
Space
to
Marine
ride on.
bikers. yeah, you can buy your own.
I would do it. I want it.
You never asked. I guess
Well,
that's true.
you should have known I wanted to see it.
Or Lord of Blood. Khorne despises the use of magic and sorcery, and therefore most expressively hates the other gods of Tzeentch and
Well,
Slaanesh. Notable
come on.
traitors of the Imperium who are aligned with
I want
Khorne
both.
are
Can't
the
win 'em
World
all.
Eaters. They are the
Yeah, he
12th
couldn't be a
Space Marine
perfect
Legion,
Chaos
and their
God.
Primarch Angron, also aligned with Chaos and Khorne. After the heresy, they split into many smaller groups such as the Forsworn, Gore Hunters, the Blood Legion of Khorne. The list goes on.
Right.
And we'll look more in detail
And those I've heard
at
a
the
little bit
specifics
more
of
about.
Chaos
Or
Marines
I
in
guess
future
I've heard
content.
mentioned, but not
The
like
other three
described
Chaos
in
gods
detail like
share
some of the
more
other
of a
things we've learned.
fluctuating and random combination of peaks and troughs, in accordance with how they draw their powers. Mortal events may imbue them with unexpected strength, which allows them momentary opportunities to become the strongest players
Whoa.
in the eternal conflict of the
Very
great
purple.
game. And these
That
spikes
also
in-
makes sense talking about
Yeah.
the swirling thing, the motion of the warp.
Yeah.
Is that like, yeah, if there's an influx of one or the other, somebody suddenly is gonna be like,
I'm strong!
I just get that TikTok sound that's like, I'm a man!
I'm
We're gonna go to war! you
Yes,
get like just
absolutely.
enough energy that
Yeah.
you're like, it's my time!
and power and dominance are nearly always fleeting, and the eternal conflict continues on unabated. Tzeentch, though, is often seen as the second Chaos God in terms of general power and stability. And this entity draws strength from the endless desires in humanity to initiate
Crazy ass
change
joke,
and
look
better
at it.
one's self-interests at the expense of others. While
You
in
know
some
that guy's
respect
rich.
these can even be positive drives,
Yes.
all too often within
Thriving.
humanity, consciously,
it.
unconsciously,
Still weird vintage.
Love it.
Weird.
I love these weird Rococo bitches.
Yeah!
I'm a big fan.
Weird Renaissance Rococo hoes.
Listen, what I know so far is that Tzeentch has a bunch of weird, rich Rococo bitches and is a Birdman, and that's all I need.
Can we have a weird Rococo Warhammer ball?
I would love it.
Please and
Love
thank
it.
you. Everyone dresses up in armor and face paint and
And
crazy
giant
wigs. Yeah.
Yes.
or surreptitiously, these desires lead to scheming, plotting, and corruption. The strength of drive to acquire a different life can result in burning down institutions and established norms. It can throw states into civil
like it.
war and
Yeah.
even threaten the
I'm in.
stability of entire planets, not to
I love
mention the
espionage.
well-established greed of mankind. These drives can sometimes even create events that can determine the fate of the galaxy. All of this,
Damn.
in essence, is Tzeentch. It is the god of great change and despair in the Materium.
Titty horns.
And the never-ending selfishness, the single-minded
right, titty
desires of
horns.
power
Love
mean that
him.
mortal creatures can
Love that
gift
little
Tzeentch
emo
with
fuck.
powerful bursts of ethereal strength. Tzeentch could be described as well as the architect of fate.
yeah.
The 15th Legion of
Mouth-like.
the Thousand Suns became almost unintentionally associated with the Chaos God of Change. Magnus the Red, their Primarch, also now elevated to a demon prince.
That's our boy.
The god Nurgle, however, is far less subtle. than
Like,
Tzeentch in
yeah,
how it
look at
draws
him.
its
The
power.
flies,
For
like...
Nurgle
Yeah.
bathes and wallows in the agony, indeed the abject misery of others' physical
I don't know why I like him so
corruption.
much,
Daddy
because
does.
I'm also
Disease,
scared
plague, and
of,
galactic
like,
pandemics.
like, I'm scared of, like, rot. I'm fucking scared of maggots. I'm scared of vomit.
Yeah,
And I'm
but
like,
he's your favorite.
ooh, but I love Papa Nurgle.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
attracted to how scary it is.
That's fair.
dominion. Nurgle as a god is often regarded as
Dude.
the god of all,
I
because
love it.
few mortal creatures seem able to escape physical
Yeah.
corruption at one time or another. And whereas the other
True.
Chaos gods usually
body's
align with
frail.
specific
The fucking, like,
individuals
the
or those
guts hanging
inclined to
out
a
of
certain
the armor.
activity or behavioural pattern, there is
Because
no
he's filled with
discrimination with
love.
Nurgle.
You're
Nurgle
right.
also
I
has
just-
a
I
more
need a- I
active
need someone
role
to take
in
care
the
of
There's
plight
that
of
little
mortals
guy
than the
again.
other
I
gods.
love him.
And that those afflicted by disease or some nightmarishly disfiguring corruption are often then subsequently shunned, exiled, and ostracized by their own communities, leaving them in painfully hopeless situations, depressing misery, often having been turned on by everyone they may have imagined would help them in their time of need.
Oof,
They
yeah.
find themselves turning to
Oof.
dark whispers,
Oof.
to Nurgle, who will then perhaps most
See, I'm like,
disturbingly
yeah, I love
not
it, and then I'm
cure
like,
them
ooh,
from their
it's so icky,
diseased and
though.
disfigured state as compensation for their spiritual devotion. If anything, their condition may often be exacerbated, but instead it will allow them to permanently live on in their unfortunately abhorrent condition, to remain as a
them.
horrific
Yeah.
parody of their former selves.
I mean, if you're
It's
looking
nasty, but
for
good for
return
them.
of life,
It's true.
you got it, I guess.
It's true. At what cost, maybe, but it's still yours.
But it's yours and it's there.
it's true.
You got the thing.
With some
smell
minor
weird, but
benefits. That being a
nailed it.
relative state of physical relief. Most followers of Nurgle seem totally unaware their physical condition should be causing them
Ooh.
levels of pain and discomfort
That's
that would
kinda
make
nice,
any
though.
normal
Yeah,
being to collapse
you
and be
still
put
think
to
you're
death
hot.
right
Yeah,
there and
actually,
then.
you look like
This
that.
rotting of Nurgle
long as you
and
feel
bloating
hot,
of the body
you're
often
probably
also
okay. It's
enables
what's
them to
inside.
physically
Mhm.
endure more damage and trauma,
And if you
making the followers
have that inside, stay away from me.
The tongue, though. What that mouth do?
Tongue, I don't know. It's the
What
the,
either of those mouths do.
The mouth, stomach. Oh, you can't see. Sorry, I'm down here like this. The mouth, stomach
Yeah.
is
It's truly
is
something.
getting to me. There's also a little.
I want.
I don't know what
the, like,
that is down
skeleton
there.
axe.
Yeah, the weapons though.
It's like
Very
a little
cool.
weird
The
coffin man in there.
The fucking like leather face.
Mhm.
Face, skin,
The
shoulder
Necronomicon
plates.
shoulder
Yeah,
pad.
yeah, like all about it.
I'm in.
followers of Nurgle more difficult to physically
I don't know,
dispose
they're like a
of.
little-
The followers of Nurgle
like a
are
little
almost universally
penis-y
extremely
thing down there, and
unpleasant
I'm like,
forms
what are
to
you
look
doing,
upon
though?
or be in the immediate
you-
vicinity of. As with their pain, they are seemingly
Oh, man, just
oblivious
straight up
to the
absorbed
horrific
some other
appearance
people
they
in there.
display to others. Perhaps most disturbingly of
I
all,
wonder if
though,
that head has a
beyond the
brain.
physical, is that worshippers of Nurgle are afflicted with an ongoing permanent
I don't
state
know
of
if they
depression,
have
but one that simultaneously
all.
brings them contradicting pleasure and satisfaction. Nurgle essentially
them.
is
Okay.
a disgusting perversion of mortality, deceiving its followers into a denial of their true self and distorting their perspective of reality. It's quite literally an abhorrent rot of the physical and mental self. The Death Guard, the 14th Space Marine Legion, are most associated with Nurgle. Mortarion, the Primarch of the Death
See,
Guard,
that's what
would
I'm saying,
become
that would
a
be
Demon
cool as
Prince of
fuck.
Chaos,
Yeah.
and other powerful Marines like Typhus, a captain, would become devastating champions.
Ooh,
Love it.
yeah. He was on our Smasher Pass recently.
Love it.
Yeah.
I like that he's like built like the Onion Knight from Dark Souls. With the like,
Yeah.
he's just round.
He's very pot-bellied.
Yeah, I'm
with
into it.
A rhino horn.
It's cute.
Yeah. We know he looks like a beetle. We know you like him.
I do.
Which then brings us conveniently
like a
to another
bug.
god which revels in perversion and
Titty.
distortion of reality, the god of
That's
pleasure,
my bitch.
Slaanesh.
That's my bitch. That's my
I'm just
bitch.
gonna point out
has
every
had an
titty I
ongoing
see, I can't
surplus
stop.
of strength ever since it was birthed at the horrific cataclysm that was the near total annihilation of the Eldar race and the shattering of their gods by Slaanesh, all brought
Yep.
about through their own excessively decadent and hedonistic ways. Slaanesh has a somewhat more
If they ever stopped fucking, Slaanesh wouldn't even exist.
Right.
They just couldn't stop fucking.
That's why I like Psychers.
It's fair.
They brought upon the best thing ever.
It's true.
Yeah. Can we have a titty counter?
I've said it at least 3 times.
yeah.
Maybe more. I don't know.
more.
There's also
More
some titties right
titties,
there.
yeah.
But these titties are too obvious. I only want to point out the titties that are like kind of
Harder
sneaky
to,
titties.
Yeah. You're like, what's that over there?
It's a titty.
A boob.
More neutral attitude toward the other 3 Chaos Gods, as its attention
this
is
art of
considerably more
Slaanesh is
focused
really
upon
fucking
indulging
cool.
its own
Love the
pleasures,
eyeballs.
as is
Yeah.
its nature. Its main opposing god, though, is Khorne.
That one only
as
has
Khorne
one
represents
titty.
violence, pain, war,
This
and
makes
through
sense,
these
yeah.
things, ultimately death. Whereas Slaanesh is much more about sustaining
Nobody's
for as
fucking
long
if
as
they're in the middle
possible
of war.
pleasure, pain, beyond description and estimation. To end all of this early through a bloody slaughter is counterproductive to how Slaanesh gains strength.
Makes
While
sense.
the previous 3 gods are abhorrent to
If you do it too quick,
Yeah.
Slaanesh is just all about foreplay.
It's true.
Like Khorne, big bad daddy, but obviously
Yeah.
has no foreplay.
He just wants to go in
In
dry,
his
and you're
book.
like, this
Yeah.
isn't fun for
He's
me.
like, I'm ready, and you're like, whoa.
You gotta cool it for 2 seconds, my guy.
we gotta take some steps here. And then Slaanesh knows what's up
It's true.
and knows the importance of foreplay, but maybe not aftercare.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't think any of the Chaos Gods know the importance of aftercare.
No,
Well, no, maybe Nurgle does.
I was gonna say
He leaves you nasty, but at least you're happy
you just,
about
like,
it.
leave Slaanesh crying, and
Yeah.
you're like, I just need some aftercare. And then Nurgle will give you a good hug,
And then you're covered in pustules, but at least you're in a
gross.
good mood.
But yeah, you feel a little
You
better
feel a little
now.
better,
and you
yeah.
don't know. And
Yeah.
as we know now, you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know how gross you look, and you don't care, because you're
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
It works out. And then
This
Singe is just in
works.
the background trying to fucking scam somebody out of $20.
Just a Birdman.
Yeah, he doesn't care about the fucking. He just
No.
is like, how can I make these people punch each other?
He's just throwing dollar bills.
Yeah. He just likes to
It's
watch.
like, I have so much money, I can just watch and throw money at you.
Singe is a cuck. He just wants to watch.
Love it.
humanity
Canon
in
now.
Xenos
Yeah.
alike. Slaanesh is arguably the darkest
also a
of
very
all
good
the
art.
gods,
Right,
which is
this
not always
one is
apparent at
great.
first glance.
I think this is the one I've
To
seen
be
the
held
most.
Yeah.
in near perpetual states of unimaginable psychological
fluffy hair.
torture.
Yeah, one
to
day
have
I'll get
pleasure
good enough at
senses
makeup to do
dragged
this whole
and
thing, too.
extracted
Hell yeah.
to levels which could be so intense as to be painful. It's a depraved entity that revels
you
in
not
not
wanna
simply
be that bitch?
hedonistic
Right?
pleasures, but prolonging
Crazy
all of these
forehead?
to the
Fucking
extreme.
cool.
The 3rd Space Marine Legion, the Emperor's Children, are the most notable followers of
they-
Slaanesh, and are best simply
Are they pink?
I can't tell if that's pink or purple.
Purple? I'm gonna guess purple.
I'm also gonna guess purple.
I have rarely heard about any pink. And I feel
Yeah.
like if there were pink, people would tell us.
That's true.
I feel like that would... They're fuchsia. Okay.
Oh, okay. So in the middle.
Okay, I was like, fuchsia is pink purple, right?
Yeah.
I don't really know. Magenta, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Like, I get Slaanesh where that comes from,
Right.
obviously. Like,
Yeah.
that has definitely, purple, blue, pink has been, like, identifying colors for them. But yeah, this is great.
described as hedonistic psychopaths. Fulgrim, the Primarch of the Emperor's Children, would also become a powerful demon prince.
Hell yeah, you would.
The strength of all the Chaos Gods comes not from the most extreme acts
I love
defined
this
by
shot
their
every
characters,
time.
it's the
Yeah,
I
very
like how
opposite.
there were
But
so
you see,
many
whilst
different
a great
versions of
many
the
acts
same
and
shot,
tidal
too.
waves of emotional horror and depravity at one
Including in
time
our
would
deck.
birth
Yeah.
the gods themselves, it is the inevitability of mortal conditions that sustains and fuels them. For Khorne, endless physical conflict is as old as the mortal realm. It never
I mean,
ceases.
yes.
It
Yeah.
never calms. The
War
He
struggle
doesn't even
between
have to
always
do
been
mortal
a
shit.
and
case of
Yeah.
yeah.
with Zinch, the endless instability of mortal affairs leads to endless change and
Also,
struggles
yes.
for power.
true. Yeah.
Nurgle, the god of all, is strengthened continuously by the inevitable decay, misery, and death that occurs constantly throughout the galaxy.
Right. Like I said, everybody is always
Yeah.
chasing this idea of immortality, but death finds us
Yeah.
all.
Well, and like it's one of those things where just like everything that they have like dominion over is literally just part of being human, and it's
Yeah.
completely unavoidable.
Well, and they feed into each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Like war causes money, fight. And
Yeah.
you know, all that jazz.
Right.
War causes death,
Yeah.
which means it's all
It's all a
full
circle,
cycle.
man.
Yeah.
As for Slaanesh, in its simplest and most innocent form, it is only the pursuit of happiness and to better oneself. But following further down
She's
this
cute
path
too.
Yeah.
leads to corrupting desire, that little by little eating away at a mortal desire from the inside, to gain a little more pleasure each time. Indeed, perhaps the happiness and
Just a
pleasure
little
is gained
more
not
each
even by
time.
the end
Just a
result,
little
but
bit.
maybe in the acts themselves, requiring them to be a little bit more each time. It is a creature that is fueled by the latent inability of mortals to be
Pirate lady.
glory,
I
wealth,
love her!
success,
Yeah.
physical desires. All of these lead down a path to Slanesh,
I wanna be a
where only
Warhammer pirate.
damnation awaits.
Yeah, it'd
Gloves?
be good.
Like, I
Through
want
the
it.
ever-changing shift of power in the great game, one of the gods may become
I do really love these shots too, where it is showing each of the gods
Mhm.
fighting, because I feel like it's the same as the other ones where there's so much going on,
Right.
but you get to see like the little intricacies of each of them.
Yeah, the
dominant
detail is really cool.
over the
Yeah.
others for a time. Their absolute goal is to have total domination over the Immaterium,
Thank
a
you.
goal which by the very nature of their own limitations is essentially unattainable. So they and the warp being that it
Yeah,
is
the
their
teeth stomach
dominion
every time.
is in
Yeah,
a
it's
state
so
of
cool.
endless chaos. If one of the gods ascends to a position of dominance over the others, then the weaker forces may temporarily not so much ally as more work together toward the same goal of toppling the most powerful god at the time.
Right.
Which makes sense.
It's still
Like-
a cycle.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, like, you know, war brings death.
Mhm.
War brings money
Yeah.
feuds.
It's just one of those things where it's also just like the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
but they're not necessarily allies, but like,
Yeah.
they're like,
This is all truly just
Yeah.
sibling rivalry.
It's true.
This is how it works when you live in
Isn't
a house
that
with multiple
how
siblings.
all of Warhammer is. It's also the
It's
like
all
fucking
sibling
all of
rivalry,
the Emperor's
yeah.
sons are
Yeah.
always kind of like we're working together, but also I'm looking at you.
Yeah, I'm the best son.
No, it's me. It's the same. That's the moral of the story is
Yeah.
don't have siblings.
Absolutely. Yeah. Says the only child. Hmm.
Perhaps simply not pay more attention to the others and then later return to endless power plays as they fight each other to claim their position of dominance. Warp storms that periodically sweep the Immaterium are a direct
Right,
result
also
of the
make
Chaos Gods
everything
battling each
just
other in
crazy.
their ethereal
Yeah.
planes.
Yeah.
Armies of demons may battle each other within the warp or the mortal galaxy as they vie for
Goddamn.
control to inflict
That thought is also scary. Not only traveling through the warp, but like
Yeah.
traveling through space, and then suddenly you're slapped with a warp storm right next to you, and you're like watching a bunch of fucking demons and shit slap the shit out of each other,
And you're like-
just like, well, I'm just walking by.
You're like, there's nothing I can do about this
Yeah.
right now. I'm just trying to vibe.
You're like, I'm just trying to get to work.
yeah,
I
leave me alone.
I don't need to be a part of it. And then someone's like, hey, you, what do you think? And you're like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, you're just trying to like stay on the other side of the sidewalk. Like,
Yeah, you're like, don't bring me
yeah,
into
I'm
this.
not part of this. I don't even know you people.
relative damage to the power of the other gods. These ongoing wars between the powers are endless cycles of repeating conflict, temporary cooperation, backstabbing, betrayal, and corrupt conspiracy and
So many
exploitation of any sensed weakness and opportunism. Humanity and races such as the
So
Eldar love to
fucking
bathe in
cool.
their own egotistic
Best picture ever, Harley Quinn's and demons. I'm
Yeah.
just sitting here like, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Love it.
love some fucking clown shit.
Yeah.
self-importance, and so the endless skirmishes,
that one says
incursions, and
blood
conflicts
cheeks out.
within the forces of chaos to them must feel like a
Don't be.
directed and focused effort from the chaos gods to ruin and obliterate them. In truth,
Love
these
that clown
battles are
shit.
far from a concerted effort by the chaos powers to destroy
Harley
the
Quinns
mortal
are just
races. In
cool.
fact, these
They just
engagements
are.
are really more like spillage, the splashes and bleedings that exude from the far more severe and ongoing struggle between the gods themselves in the Immaterium. With all of that said, there are periods where, for the briefest of moments, the Chaos Gods will turn their eye to the mortal real space and pierce it with a plan of evil consciousness. These moments
Yeah.
of attention for the gods can represent devastating battles for survival for mortal civilizations.
They
An
gotta fuck with
opportunistic
them.
warp
It's true.
opening here,
Why
Can't
not?
always
summon
just be
possession
a
there.
them
These
thing.
gateways
Yeah.
will
It's
often
gotta be an
unleash a
everyone
host
thing.
Right?
of demons, of whichever power first became aware of the opportunity. It's demons lavishing the chance to slaughter and or corrupt the mortal vessels that await them across whatever plane they happen to find themselves upon. On the
It's like a good Saturday night out.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, like everyone loves to drink at home. It's cheaper.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, you gotta go out on the town with your goyles.
yeah.
You gotta
Maybe
fuck
kill
shit
a
up.
few guys.
Maybe kill a few guys. Maybe do some murder, drink
Yeah.
some blood, you know.
Yeah.
the rare occasion that the powers sense something has dangerously allied against them, or a force has risen that poses a genuine threat to their existence, this is
Damn.
when you may see the most dangerous of allegiances, known as Chaos Undivided. It's fairly self-explanatory, and considering that
Oh.
even at the worst of times in the ordinary galaxy,
Yeah.
the ongoing problems of chaos are only a small amount of their attention, you can barely imagine the danger and threat that the combined forces and attentions of the Chaos Gods represents. As mentioned, the rise of the Emperor was one such occasion, and it
Right,
nearly
yep.
led to the entire destruction of humanity.
Yep.
However,
Yeah.
as soon as such matters are resolved, the
They heard about him and said, hey, I do not like this.
I mean, I wonder why.
Yeah, for real.
Everything was just a little crazy.
Yeah. He's just like, I'm going to make everything perfect for humans. And they're like, no, you're not.
Yeah, they're like,
We need at
absolutely
least
not.
10% of the weird shit happening.
They're
You can't
like-
just take away all of it.
He's like, I'm a god?
Yeah. And they were like, no.
He was also like, no.
Yeah, not a god. Just a really important guy
Just a
that
really,
I want you
really
to
important
worship.
guy.
gods will immediately use that momentary
lightning
lapse
explosion.
to attempt to
Cool.
exploit the others. This in part
a chain
explains
of
why at
heads.
the
Yeah.
end of the Horus
big
Heresy,
deal.
the forces of the traitorous space marines of Chaos were so quick to flee, collapse and retreat.
A little bit pussy.
It seems fair to assume that with the death of Horus and the near fatal wounding of the Emperor to the point he became a far more ineffective entity for mankind, the
Just
gods
a
of
funky
Chaos
little
likely
skeleton.
snapped
Yeah.
their attention back towards their own conflicts in the warp and away from the trivial conclusion of the devastating heresy
Yeah,
war.
They're like, I
during
don't
the
care
period
about the rest
scouring.
of
Yeah,
this.
they gotta do their own thing.
All of this brings us to a fairly common question, though. Why are there no positive gods in the Immaterium? If a sentient being's emotions and desires, as well as
That's a
their
good
general
question.
conscious or unconscious feelings, form the entities within the warp, then it stands to logical reason you would surely see positive creations,
Yeah.
as well as these very negative ones, correct?
I wonder if it's just because negative emotions tend to be stronger emotions.
Yeah, I see that. Also,
Like,
didn't it...
Positive emotions are much more passive, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, and you feel them strong, but not the same kind of strong that
Right.
you feel like anger,
Uh-huh.
grief, hatred,
Yeah.
sadness. Also, though, didn't it talk about that in text-to-speech a little bit? About how
think
each
so.
of them also does stand for positive things,
Yeah.
but like...
But they're just scary about it.
Yeah.
This is generally speaking best marked as one of those things we could class as poorly defined or just not well understood. We
Okay.
know that there are lesser entities out there in the warp, and that it's reasonable to assume that they are just relatively unapparent or smothered by the presence of more powerful chaos
Right.
gods.
Fair. Well, and
Some,
like,
of course, even
Kind
going
of the exact same thing you
Yeah.
were saying. They're smothered by
Yeah.
the other stronger
Well,
emotions.
yeah, and I feel like inherently a god of a positive emotion wouldn't be fucking around. They'd just be like, I'm just gonna exist over here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yeah,
give a shit
they're
about
like,
all your drama. I'm
"I
just
don't
gonna
need
be
any
in
of
the
this."
corner, just living my best life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
so far as to speculate that the Emperor himself is potentially a positive godlike creature. He is, after all, an anathema to the Chaos Gods. It also raises further questions like, do the Chaos Gods truly represent darkness and evil? Or is that a
Right.
subjective human definition?
Mhm.
Right.
I think they're more neutral.
The Chaos God
we just
Zinch, for
don't
example,
understand
revels
them.
in change
think,
and
yeah, they
disruption.
are more
And whilst
neutral.
it's true you can make a connection of change and disruption being a negative thing, another view would be that it simply represents an opposing position of order and stability. Do we attach automatically the concept of evil to this? It's true that
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Like, good and evil is like a human construct.
Yeah.
So like these things are so outside of the realm of like human understanding that we just
Yeah.
like say they're evil because they're like
Well, and they're
chaotic and like
extremes.
combat. Yeah.
Like maybe when you look at like Nurgle or when you look at Korn, you're like, okay, like death and decay and like war, maybe
Mhm.
not so much, but money
Yeah.
and pleasure,
yeah.
those are just those things taken to an extreme
Mhm.
excess
Yeah.
where they are no longer good or like goal or
Yeah.
it is taking those things that we
Right.
do want and taking them way too far.
Right.
within the Chaos Pantheon, their followers and wars cause devastating suffering, but arguably no more than any other race in the far future. And humanity itself is no beacon of purity and innocence
Oh,
when
yeah,
it comes to such
absolutely.
things. It's worth remembering as well that without the depraved selfishness, violence, and all the worst traits of mortal races, the Chaos Gods wouldn't even exist.
Right?
If it weren't for how fucked up humans are, like we're so fast to judge these things that are just like outside of our understanding. But then it's like, if we weren't fucking around all the time, then would these things even have happened? No, probably
No,
not.
probably not.
They wouldn't have any food to eat.
They wouldn't have the power that birthed them.
Mhm.
We are walking deeper into the path of the Chaos Gods. We're just understanding them.
See, and I've been this whole time. I'm saying I got no affiliation. I just like all of it. I play for every team.
Okay, yeah, humans aren't the ones that created Slaanesh. Yes, I hear
That's
that.
true.
But humanity, yes, the idea of that all brings it together.
So it's hard when you really think about it to ascribe that they are mindlessly evil. If anything, the Chaos
Right.
Gods are a reflection of mortals as they peer into the
See, this
ocean
is
of
why I
the warp
love
with their
Luton.
souls. With so much of what occurs in the galaxy of the far future, humanity will and has always attached unobjective, even irrational emotions and
shit, she
fears
got a
to
plate of
events or
armor.
individuals.
What else is
It's
on
what
there?
enables them to
Just
be
a chest
perceived
arm.
as being fundamentally good
expected
or
it to be more
bad.
body
The
parts.
Xenos race of the Orcs are a
maybe
good
it is.
example, often seen by humans to be
There's the
foul,
green boys.
war-hungry, yes, even
love these green
evil
boys.
creatures bent on mindless destruction, brutal
not
horrors,
evil.
carnage, and slaughter without end. But
just
with
like to
further
punch.
study,
Right,
we know
exactly,
this not
same
to
thing.
be exclusively true. Orcs are not evil because they're not driven by some higher premeditated
thing.
grand plan.
They're
They
just
operate
doing
by
their thing.
design and instinct, and within that you could also include the Tyranids, who operate with much of the same core drives. Depending how far along
love
you want to
Tyranids.
go
Yeah,
with this,
love 'em.
it can become significantly complicated and very philosophical.
I mean, you can also look at that and talk about that within the Marines themselves.
Yeah.
Like, when we first brought Warhammer to the girls and started learning about it as a group, one of the biggest questions is, like, okay, well, who are the good guys?
Yeah.
And there is no answer.
Yeah, that's one of the things that makes me so interested in it, which is
Yeah.
why I get sad when so many people are like, oh, this bad, this good. And I'm like, no, because what makes Warhammer interesting is that there is no good.
There is no good.
like,
There's
no one's the good guy.
You can definitely say that there is bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone is just going at whatever their pace is, whatever they think is good, whatever they think is right. It's all just like
Yeah.
lawful good everywhere.
Right? Yeah,
or
everyone's just
chaotic
extreme.
good. Yeah. Yeah, it's more lawful good versus chaotic good.
Yeah.
Everyone is somewhere in that realm because they're doing what they think.
Yeah. Everyone's just gunning for what they believe in.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we
Including
view things with
these
a
guys.
human
Yeah.
point
Or
of view.
orcs.
But the
Or the
key thing
chaos
to
gods.
understand
Yes.
is that chaos is not as simple as it being bleak, darkness, or evil. That is a humanistic projection overlaid
Yeah.
onto it. In some
See?
respects, elements of the chaos gods and what they represent are actually positives,
Ooh.
depending on your point of
Ah,
reference.
hot. Love the
In saying
hat.
this,
Love
I
Hot.
can feel Imperial Inquisitors heading my way
Inquisitor.
with increasing urgency. Truly, though, this is where things are slightly contentious. It's never, to my knowledge, expressly explained about the morality or the positive negative aspects of the Chaos Gods. There are subjective interpretations and quotations, and arguably it's just a matter of perception. We could,
Yep.
for example, look from an orc's perspective. A god like Khorne, that is a concentrated expression of violence and bloodlust, would not
Got distracted. Love that this just looks like a giant middle finger.
Yeah, 100%. I saw
I'm
the same
so
thing.
into it.
I think it's supposed to be teeth, like his bottom row of teeth on one side.
I think it's.
But I do
I
love
think it's
that it's this. Yeah.
I think it's a this.
look dark, evil, and abhorrent. For an orc, Khorne would look pretty positive, appealing, energizing even. Now, of course, were it not for the fact that orcs
I
have
love
their
the
own
art,
gods,
the
Gork
older
and
art
Mork,
where they
I
do
would
their
never have any
jaws
interest
are
in
just,
following
like,
or
way
worshipping
down here.
chaos.
So
On
good.
the other side of the coin, to some ordinary, non-superhuman citizens, extreme violence, bloodlust, and death is perhaps shockingly not so positive or appealing.
Right.
Are the Chaos Gods truly evil,
Yeah, it all depends
or
on
do
your
they simply
perspective.
Right, I'm
represent a
not
balance of
condoning
combined
these things.
expression?
They are
where
bad,
from
but to
a
some
human
people and
perspective,
some
the negative
culture,
aspects are
it's
much more
not.
pronounced. Khorne, for example,
And like, without the bad things, would you even enjoy the good things? Also.
Ain't that life?
So, like, without all of this chaos and, like, stress and anything else, like, do you even have the frame of mind to recognize a positive experience?
Yeah.
So, like, what's so wrong? We're getting real philosophical today.
Yeah. We're all up in it.
We're all up in it.
example is known by some to also represent honor and courage, as each, while
Hey.
change can be a negative, can be a positive. Nurgle, while in this time undoubtedly it's slanted more
Right.
towards horrific plague and mutation, yet it
Yes.
also to one degree can be about rebirth and even salvation.
Yeah,
Slaanesh,
see?
while all about dark and hedonistic excesses, is
love
also
them.
about life and positive experiences, albeit for yourself. Some
Right,
few would even go
seeking
so far as
pleasure.
to suggest that Slaanesh can represent love. I would imagine this
Okay.
to be more of
I
an
could see it. I
all-consuming
could
love,
see it.
though, that makes someone
Right.
behave
An
differently.
Like
obsessive
an
love, but
unhealthy
yeah.
love. Yeah, like once again taking everything that is good but into excess.
Mm-hmm.
dangerously and irrationally.
That's
but
why we love Luton.
nonetheless.
I'm ready to get philosophical with
Chaos and the
That's what
Chaos
makes
Gods
Warhammer
can be not
interesting.
only
I
about
like it.
destruction
Oh,
and
that's what I
horror,
love about it.
but about the exploration of the further realms of experience. They are the edge of the expanse of consciousness and exist beyond the limits of human imagination. To this end, can you ever really say you would understand such beings or be able to comprehend what they could
That thing is
offer,
so cool.
what they could show you, or how this would
Hi,
alter
baby.
your perception?
Hi.
I think to
Oh,
quote another
you don't
explorer
look
beyond
so
the mortal
good.
world,
No, I
the
don't
Chaos
know. I
Gods and
think
their
she was
domains
gross.
are seen as demons to some, angels to others.
This is hot.
Oh, that's interesting. I've never really considered. I think that goes into like the idea of biblical angels as well, which obviously you can see. Like,
Yeah.
like when you see some of the sister art, you can definitely see this like very holy idea of angel.
Yeah.
But then that picture of Slanesh, especially, you get like true biblical angel look. Which
Yeah.
if anybody watching this right now does not know what biblical angels look like, just Google it.
Oh, yeah.
It is insane.
The way they're actually described in the Bible is fucking buck wild.
Yeah, and they look crazy. And so it is an interesting concept where some people are like, these are demons.
Yeah.
And other people are like, no, they're angels.
Mm-hmm.
Because truly
Yeah.
that line rides kind of thin,
It's
depending
like-
on
yeah.
what you're looking like.
Now I want to watch the show Midnight Mass again.
Speaking
Speaking of things that are interpreted as angels that probably aren't.
I haven't seen it
It's
yet.
so good. You have to.
If you want to see us cosplay as Sisters of Battle, we're paused, so I'm going to do this
Yes.
right now. I've said this in videos. Check out our Patreon
Yes.
and support us there.
Yes.
We have looked into the cost of armor, and it's going to be about $6,000 a girl.
Yes.
And we want to do a 4-person Sister of Battle cosplay really bad. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure we could even do 5. I bet Sydney would be all in.
Yeah.
But we, as a channel, cannot afford that now.
We have to pay ourselves. We have to pay rent on the building. We have to pay all of the things to make videos like this and events and anything else happen.
So if you guys would like that, check out our Patreon. Help support us there.
Yes.
Because if we can get Patreon high enough, it is on the table. We've already
Yes.
done the research. We already know where to get stuff like
Yes.
that from. And it is a goal that we want to do. So
Yeah.
just because I saw it in chat, if you guys want to help us reach that goal, we will make it happen one day.
Fuck yeah.
Knock on wood.
Also, you bet your sweet butt cheeks if we all get armor, we'll be filming at least a couple videos in them. It won't just be for a photo shoot. We're gonna fucking do shit in those outfits because that's expensive.
I think next week's video, you're going to see me do a very similar speech to this.
Oh,
in
yeah.
which I also say if I get an armor, I will do a whole month of text or of Warhammer
Yeah.
videos in it.
What I really want to do is if we all get armor, I want to do like an AFK or like an IRL stream where we all just like go live our lives in giant Sisters of Battle armor. Just
like,
4 of us like going
going
to getting a beer and just
Yeah.
sitting and being like, hey guys, how's
Going
it
to the
going?
bar.
Yeah,
I
I want it.
I would be very down.
It'd
100%.
be very funny. IRL
We
stream
could take
in
it to
the giant
cons.
armor.
We could do
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff. So I mean, like, it is truly a goal of ours. We want to make it happen.
Yeah, it's the dream.
But how you gonna pee? Very carefully.
Yes, with a little bit of complexity, but we'll get there.
Devout
Ooh.
members of the Imperium's
See, this is
ecclesiarchy
where I'm like,
would say
uh-oh,
that
I
these
love everything in
arguments
this
are
picture.
made by ruined and corrupted chaos cultists who are
like, I
trying
can't
to
pick
merely
sides, I like
rationalize
everyone.
the
Yeah.
dark powers of the warp. It's also possible, though, that from a human perspective, positive gods still emerge in the warp, or even that they always have, but perhaps they're simply nowhere near as powerful as the other entities that exist there and are crushed and obliterated before they have a chance to grow. If you want to really get to the core of this, though, it's humanity's own self-delusions about
Yes.
positivity being as much or more prevalent than negative traits. Whilst it's true that most humans aspire to have positive aspects in their lives, you need to look at the larger picture and start to consider if the collective positive experiences are really that substantial or powerful in the grand scheme of things, or are they just more like positive background radiation in terms of their influence to the warp? If you think of emotions and self-expression as needing to be of sufficient strength to essentially register in the warp, it helps to explain why when you look at the creation of the Chaos Gods, they only generally seem
Babies.
to occur after significant periods of
Oh,
sustained,
babies.
powerful, often traumatic, and not just ordinary but extreme emotions and expressions.
Right.
We see that
Like, humanity as we know it now already is filled with overwhelming sense of grief, anger, depression, all
Yeah.
of this. And we don't fucking live in Warhammer.
Right, so I can't imagine how much worse it is to be in like this kind of a world.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. It'd be, whew.
That these resonated with enough strength to enable them to be able to come into a state of sentience. This to me suggests that it is only the most powerful feelings, or those on the edge of the spectrum of emotion, that registers and contributes to the warp most significantly.
Yep, exactly what we were
While
saying
positive
earlier.
feelings like family bonding, loyalty, honour, appreciation of art and beauty, and of course love
Much
and devotion
more
can be
chill
powerful
Yes.
in moments. Do those situations happen more
But they
often
don't
and in significant
fester and
strength to
boil like everything
counterbalance
else
the
does.
generally more regular
Damn,
and
that is
arguably more
fucking-
powerful
whew!
negative
Love it.
aspects of pain and suffering that are and always have been so widespread? So again, I say it's worth noting that the Chaos Gods only begin to appear
I know the Creek
after a
wasn't sad
significant
about
period
his
of
dead
fairly
body.
extreme,
We were just sad
concentrated
about
I'm sad
outpouring
about
of
his dead
consciousness
body.
and
I'm not a
suffering
Creek
before they
yet.
were able to consume
It's another
this
cosplay
power
I'm
and
working
come
on.
into
Hell
being.
yeah.
Once they reached this critical massive emotive energy that allowed their creation, they simply needed to just continue on, while the endless emotive energy would continue then to sustain their needs.
Right.
It was enough
always
that they
gonna
had
be.
been created and would then just exist until the later periods in human
Chainsaw
history
arm?
where their
Love
strength
it.
would become significant after
You
the
know I
huge
love a
levels
chainsaw
of
arm.
horrific destruction that would befall mankind. Essentially, it would have taken or would take a very, very powerful, consistent act of positive consciousness
Right.
to bring a true positive
so
God
hard.
into existence.
It is
within the world.
hard.
And that is very
Especially
unlikely
in this
given the current
space.
state of mankind in the 42nd millennium or any time previous.
Right?
Yeah.
If it's already unlikely now, then it's fucking damn near
Of
impossible
course,
in
there
this
is also just
situation.
an even more simple rationalization that the warp, for whatever reason, is just more receptive to what we define as negative emotions and their associated actions
Right.
than positive, for whatever
Okay, but
reason.
that's the easy answer. I like the other
In
answer
relation
better.
to how we
Yeah.
perceive
Yeah.
the warp, one thing that I think is a mistake to envision is negative forces as dark and positive forces as light. That is something always projected onto them. This is an
Right.
age-old description, and it's like so many things overly simplistic and a part of humanity's embedded cultural
Yeah, that's a
delusions.
crazy image.
We love to rationalize things in human terms. To visualize bringing light into darkness is always going to prevail. It's simple to imagine because it's an ancient illustration. From a
Right.
time in human history where these visualizations were designed to easily illustrate two opposing perspectives.
Yep.
Literally, I mean, the same thing that we were talking about earlier with vintage art. Of
Yeah.
like, you would see these holy light
Yeah.
images, and then you would see these like dark demons doing things, and it's always this idea of good or bad or light and dark. When
Yeah.
it's not always that
Yeah.
easy.
Reality's gray. It's all gray.
Yeah.
Demonstrate to people that the righteous power and the side that they needed to align themselves with
I like this
to
nasty
show
guy.
them the positive aspects
I like the
nullifying the
scroll.
negative ones. Light overpowers or pushes
Aggressively
away the
pointing.
darkness. However, if you want to continue
Whoa.
along with that thinking, you might
I
also
want that in
imagine
my
that
house.
light may hold back the darkness, but that it never truly extinguishes it. The
Yep.
darkness is always there, waiting. And as soon as the light weakens, the darkness begins to creep in, to
this
bleed
is
into
kind
the
of the
edges
default.
of a room, to encroach and allow
Just like
pockets
night and day,
of
there's always
darkness to
both.
exist.
Just like space.
Just
Those
like
small
space.
areas of darkness, who knows what they hold, and if the light dwindles or is extinguished, darkness will envelop what remains and dominate that space. The best summation is that a lot of perceptions are informed by realities that they themselves have individually experienced or been taught. There's undoubtedly also plenty of projection occurring, with people assigning
Right.
negative traits to chaos. In
Right.
reality, the gods themselves will not perceive nor be concerned by definitions so entirely human.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
One thing is for sure though, once the gods began to be aware that the activities of mortals outside their realm could imbue them with strength and
Then of
thereby
course
enable
they're
them to
gonna
carry
mess
more
with it.
strength
Yeah,
into their great
right?
game, they became far more interested and proactive in influencing
Like, why
events in the
wouldn't
material
they?
realm.
Right. Like, oh, hey, there's a bunch of people and a bunch of emotion down on Terra.
Yeah, basically free food.
Basically, yeah, like, oh, I'm feeling a little weak today. Guy
Yeah.
over here is way stronger. You know where I'm headed.
Yeah.
Like,
It's-
easy pickings.
It's like telling people there's a free buffet. They're gonna fucking show up.
Yeah.
Like,
if there's free food, why not take it?
it's
This
true.
is where the followers like cultists, Astartes traitors, and demons fit within the realm of chaos. They are
Right.
the labourers of the gods, and their acts are always only to benefit their masters. Still, followers of chaos are
There's
not
Nathan
only
Explosion
those who
again.
can benefit from the realm. It is in fact suggested that the Emperor gains some knowledge by travelling through a gateway to the realm of the all-powerful chaos gods, apparently appeasing them
Yay!
There's Nathan
And
Explosion.
they in
There's
return
the
allow him
Nathan
to return to
Explosion.
science to unlock the mysteries of creation.
This is a non sequitur, but I can't get over the fact that so many illustrations of the Emperor, he has a tiny, tiny mouth. He just always is like this.
Not a single time have I ever noticed that, but now I will only see that.
Emperor with me in most of the art has like
just
his little lips are just always pursed.
He's just so angry. His lips
He's
purse
so
all the time.
mad. Poor man. He's going through it.
This knowledge would enable him to create the demi-godlike figures of the Primarchs.
Yup.
Right.
The Emperor,
Yeah.
though seen
Babies.
lying to the Dark Gods about his intentions, would then suffer
his
at the
horse
hands
shoulder
of their
pad.
powers, as they scattered the gestating pods of the Primarchs across the galaxy, and they would not be reunited with the Emperor until
It's
the
not
Great
letting you
Crusade.
send super chats?
Now,
We
these
had super
realities
chats
only
earlier.
further
Sorry, I'll pause it. I've
Yeah.
seen a couple people say something about no super chats, but like they were on earlier. We
Yeah,
had like 3
absolutely.
or 4 that came through.
Huh.
Sorry about that, guys. I promise
Yeah.
it's nothing that we did, and thank you so much for wanting to support
Right.
and do that.
That's super strange. I
Yeah, I
don't know
don't
why it stopped.
Yeah, I don't know why it would change.
It lets me click on it, but I also don't think I can go any further than that because I'm signed in as us.
Yeah. Either way, thank you guys. That's really
But yeah,
fucking
for
kind.
real.
Oh.
It's good.
Oh. Okay.
the muddy the water around the Emperor and his true intentions.
Those
his
fucking
foresight
pearls,
and
though.
knowledge.
Yeah, Shirley Temple who? With like the leopard print cloak? Like,
I just can't.
I-
I know. I want to like Sanguinius so bad. I do.
I conceptually like him.
Yes. Yes. Like, conceptually, I'm like, yes, I love Sanguinius. And then I see him with his pearls and the ringlets and the leopard print. And I'm like, I just don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love
He's very extra.
my favorite thing is like Warhammer is such like a masculine hobby, right? But like so many of the designs of the Primarchs especially are just camp.
Yeah.
They're incredible.
Yeah.
They're so over the top and like gaudy and crazy.
Yeah.
Like the guy with the fucking horse shoulder
whole
pad.
yeah.
Like this motherfucker with the eyeballs and the leopard print cloak. Like
Horus and his horn nipples.
Yeah.
Come on.
it's just they're camp. They're amazing.
They are
I
good.
love
They're very
it.
good. Yeah.
It's just such a good dichotomy and it brings me a lot of joy.
About chaos, why he would consider such actions as being necessary, or that he
Like,
could
man's
back out of
literally got a
deals made
panther
with
on
these
his
gods of the
shoulder.
Materium.
You can't
what
tell
his
me that's not
intentions
camp.
were
Look at his
with regard to
titties.
his own
Yeah.
position within the multi-millennia
love
spanning
Magnus's
history of
titties.
humanity in the dark future.
I want to hang off him like a monkey.
Chaos is the most significant enemy of humanity in the future. The gods of the
Yeah.
warp continually sow the seeds of any number of corrupting ways that
Right.
eat
They're
away at our
already dealing
lives
with
and
their
our
own shit,
consciousness.
and
These
then
seeds of
chaos on
doubt,
top of
fear,
it.
hatred, selfish ambition fester and rot away under the surface of society and the institutions of
I mean, after so many years of all of this, the fucking Horus Heresy, everything,
Yeah.
it's hard to not have people
Right.
that are flopping and like traitors. Like, it makes sense that the actions that have happened over these time periods have then caused
Right.
this, the
Yeah.
cultists, the traitors, all that jazz. Like, it's just part of the course of nature.
It
to
makes
the
sense.
Imperium, threatening to
humans be.
eat it
That's how
alive
humans
from
are,
the
yeah.
inside out. The Chaos Gods seek to eternally exert their influence on the mortal realm, on its many races, and allow literal chaos to reign and give them strength for their great game. Interestingly, though, the Chaos Gods also
Yeah.
have by their nature a symbiotic relationship with the entities of the Materium, because the Chaos Gods only gain power through the actions, emotions, and emanations of mortals collectively. So ensuring chaos, unrest, death, destruction, misery, and even hedonistic pleasures are all part of their aims. The total destruction of humanity or all mortal races would not be to their own best interests, whether they're aware of it or not, or whether they even care about that or not. Without us, they would slowly cease to exist in their current form and would likely dissipate back into the warp until it was again a calm, balanced realm. In that respect, races like the Tyranids are far more literally dangerous. However, it is
Yeah.
the insidious nature of chaos that makes it so despised. It is so often not
Ooh,
an
cool
enemy
art
in plain
again.
sight.
It's creepy,
that
man.
hides,
I
That
love
one
it.
gets me.
and
I don't know.
distorts the innocent.
She's like, I'm just gonna lick your face.
And whether the gods are truly aware of how reliant they are on mortals is another matter. They show little signs of
makes sense,
concern for
yeah.
this, and their ongoing battle to destroy and corrupt continues. Even ever more
They're just
severely in the
hungry.
42nd millennium, now the
They're not
Great
worried about
Rift
buying
has
more
torn through the
groceries. They're just gonna
galaxy,
eat everything in
enabling the
pantry.
forces of chaos to have an ever more violent and invasive capacity. Now we will further explore the gods and forces of chaos in the future. They stand as the keepers of nightmarish hellscapes that most mortals dare to even imagine. Chaos has already inflicted untold damage on many races in the galaxy, most obviously the Eldar.
It worked! Thank you so much for your $10 super chat. Your
that's
wife is
awesome.
doing a Death Corpse card as a cosplay. Jobsburger feel. That's amazing.
That is awesome.
I've seen a couple people on TikTok who have done it, and I was like, oh, this would be a really great way to do a
Warhammer cosplay that's less intense.
and a little cheaper and stuff that I could acquire without having to build giant armor. So
and like, especially for Krieg, you could get a lot of stuff from like a military surplus store and then just like edit it yourself.
Yeah, alter it and edit and add little pieces instead of like
repaint
giant
bits and
things.
Just dirty it up.
But thank you again so much for that super chat. I'm glad that you got it to work. I really have no idea what that was about.
And the Imperium of Man. And they show no signs of relenting in their ever ongoing quest to dominate all. Yet there is always hope. Always. But the grim darkness of the far future looks ever darker with the strength and reach of the Chaos Gods being ever more pronounced.
I don't know. It doesn't say in the grim darkness of the far future
there is always hope.
It's not quite.
Is that the tagline?
I don't think it's the tagline.
Are we editing it now?
I think that maybe I'm just not hopeful.
There is, but like, is it far-fetched? Maybe a little. Maybe it's a little far-fetched hope.
But there are those who care little about the forces of chaos and the gods therein. Creatures like the orcs and Tyranids. There also remain those like the Eldar and mankind who are all too well aware of the danger that chaos poses to the entire galaxy to turn it into a warped, distorted realm of complete, total, and literal chaos. Yeah. And then there are the younger races like the Tau, who only now are beginning to understand the true nature of chaos.
I can't think of them the same way ever again.
Not a single time.
I
will now perpetually giggle at the Tau.
It's true. I feel like I didn't know much about them, and then I just knew how much Kitten hates them because of his weird ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, partner,
my brain
person.
hears Tau and then forehead vagina, and I go...
and then you go, forehead vagina.
High Inquisitor Bronislaw was once known to have said that if my time in the Black Library taught me anything, it was, controversially, that chaos is already very much part of us. It deals in the currency of mortal souls and feeds off states and emotions that are in essence natural.
Right.
Without us,
there's nothing you can do about
chaos.
it.
Right.
Good and evil, right and wrong.
Yep. And without negative emotions, you don't have positive emotions, you just don't feel anything. It's just worse.
To comfort and define themselves. I'm afraid much of the God Emperor's work is done in the grey area in between. This is the more truly worrying reality that humanity is chaos.
They're both hot.
And chaos is humanity.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, chaos is born from humanity.
The ugly horror
that image just gave me
of
panic for a minute. I had
it's the side of ourselves we cannot face. It is the darkness.
I'm sorry, the gimp masks really really threw me off.
That's
for a
cosplay that could be easy,
right?
Full suit gimp mask, a little one of those like
like you know what I mean.
Steampunky doohickeys.
Yeah, little monocle
and
things.
then a good corset, you know?
And then you just gotta accessorize properly, and then people will be very confused.
Boom, assassin.
You're just gimping, but...
Yeah. Just gimping.
Just gimping around.
with a sword.
That we define upon each other.
I love it.
It is the evil that men do. It is the distilled nature of mortals.
Sometimes it looks less like a
The
gimp
Imperium
mask.
suffers
Yeah,
because of chaos.
I think the black and white didn't
be
help
so.
this.
True.
But humans butcher, torture, repress, abuse, and conspire against one another. Do we do all this because we want it to be so, or do we do this because the dark gods require? Do we know that humanity has free
just
will?
human nature,
Or are we being
bit.
danced like puppets to the tune and the
that's another
whispers
game
of the
clip.
Dark Lords, more powerful than any mortal can understand? Now there are always many powerful quotes around the more defined chaos gods of Khorne, Nurgle and Slanesh, but I think I would finish with something as Zinch would have it, that the Imperium is founded on chaos.
Yeah. I mean, truly.
That's a good point.
Without chaos, you wouldn't have any of the other bits.
It's true.
Thank you so much for that
Thank
super
you.
chat. We're almost through, and then we'll sit here and talk to you guys for a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have some extra time today. We're not rushing, so we'll be sure to pull chat up and actually see you guys.
Absolutely.
Oh my God! Thank you so much for
Oh
$10
my
super chat, you
goodness.
guys.
We'll have a good creepy little bird bitch.
No.
I'm sorry.
Listen, it's totally fine. I'm glad that you love him. It's just not for me. You know what it looks like? It looks like the fucking, sorry, you have a hair. It looks like the bird people from Dark Crystal.
I was gonna say, it looks like a skexy.
Because, it's like nasty little, that shit scared me so bad as a kid. That's why, that's gotta be why I hate birds.
Maybe.
Because I watched the thing dying.
See, the thing dying scared me, but like,
scared me.
The creatures themselves, I was like, those are fucking cool.
No, yeah, they didn't.
They're gross, but they're cool.
They didn't scare me, but that, like, old one turning to dust, that fucked me up.
That was terrifying.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. Yeah. Without chaos,
Torso eyeballs, man.
there would be nothing.
It's true.
We need the chaos to keep it all going.
It's true.
We need the internal struggle. We need the fight.
It's just like GP. If we weren't chaotic, would you actually watch us? Probably not.
The tea.
Oh my god, hold on.
Okay.
Oh, I know I need to go back for
Titty!
a second. Go back. I just noticed this, their emblem is like literally the little
Whoa.
shush. How have I never seen that before?
Yeah, I haven't either.
That's
Maybe
so
there's just always so
cool.
much going on.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome.
Really, really cool. Yeah.
This music really gets me going. I like it.
You're just vibing.
It's awesome.
Oh, it's a fan-made symbol. Interesting.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I was wondering why I'd never seen that before. I like it a lot. This hits, man. Like, this fucks. I'm into it. I'm about it.
Yeah.
I'm about it. I'm glad this is.
Me too. This was a great video.
I'm feeling it, man. I murdered thousands for the Emperor. He gave me nothing except his damning silence. Now his lapdogs yap for every life I take. Oh no, I wasn't done! I was reading, Luton! While the gods promised me the galaxy. That's fucking cool.
Wolf bad of corn.
Fucking
That is listed, I don't know, I think it's listed in every video, but it's also listed on Twitter at the top for sure.
yeah. Well, that was
it.
fucking dope.
Yeah,
Loved
you want
every
to pull
second of
that
it.
over and make it big
Yeah.
so we can actually see him and look a little better? Yeah.
Everybody go sub to Luton. That's all I'm saying. Like, I know we've reacted to his stuff a lot. We love him. He's a great person. He's a great friend. He's played games with us several times now. Well, one full time, and then keeps meaning to play games with us more.
And
but,
obviously, he makes great work.
yeah.
Like, that video was so good and
Mhm.
so solid and wasn't just delivering information.
Yeah.
But also he got into the philosophy of it and he broke it down.
Mhm.
Like, it's great to hear. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Tanner, for that super chat as
Thank
well.
you.
Oh, it's an oracle.
Ooh.
One head foresees the future and the other sees the past.
I see. I love
That's
that
so
shit.
crazy.
Love that
Thank you,
shit.
Extinctor,
I'm
for
into it.
throwing the link in there for Luton.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
I really enjoyed that video too. Yeah, I really, really did.
Yeah, it
I
was
thought it was
awesome.
an excellent time.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
I feel like I've always been really interested in chaos just because I feel like the way that the other side of it is presented so often is just like good guys versus bad guys. We are the morally correct ones. And I'm like, I am much more interested in like the gray area in when it comes to lore of like everything. That's
Right.
always what I'm interested in.
Well, when you look at things from gray,
yeah.
it gives you a greater perspective because it
Mhm.
shows you all sides and all things because it does.
Mhm.
It lies in this middle.
Yeah.
And so you get to spend time seeing, well, was this person right? Was this person right? What was going on? Yeah, and a lot of it does fall into gray, which is great.
Right? Yeah. And I love it. Yeah, 40K is like full of gray area, but I feel like the way, especially when not necessarily all like lore videos, but especially when you listen to people talk about just the Space Marines, they're like, we're the good guys all of the time. And I'm like, that's not really interesting though.
Yeah.
And I like to learn about them. And I think it's all of the facets of it can be very interesting, but I feel like that's kind of what made me want to learn more about like some of the other factions, is because it was presented in such a way where it's like, if you don't agree with the Emperor, you're a heretic. If you think critically about anything at all, you're evil.
Right.
And I'm like, I want to learn about everything.
Yeah. It's good to be knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, the Fate Weaver cannot see the present, only the past and future.
That's wild.
Yeah, that definitely is chaos also.
That's so cool.
Like,
I love that.
Very... Luton is definitely a good choice for lore. He is contemplative and doesn't shoot
Put that
off
in the
info.
middle if you want it.
Yeah. It's showing a lot that he didn't grow up in society without... He cannot let go of the gods part. I've yet to find one able to do that. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, and 40K it's really hard to understand. There's a lot to it. There were so many factions and sides, and like we were saying, everybody thinks that they're good. Right. Everybody thinks that they are doing what's good and what's best, and so it is really interesting spending the time to look at everything and get in there.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I love it. There's so much. There's so much. And
so
like,
much, yeah.
I feel like it's one of those things where like, you can't, there's like
Well, yeah,
no
maybe not
way,
everyone.
even like the people we know that are experts are like, there are things I don't know.
Yeah.
And there's just so much of it that's just how it's going to be. But that's also what's part of what makes it interesting, is because there's always something that you can find that you're like, I had no fucking clue about this.
Right.
I feel like I've consumed so much of like related and then also adjacent content, but you still find shit that you're like, whoa, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, you're
And
like,
it's awesome.
How did I not know about this thing? It feels like I would have known in every other thing
Yeah.
that we've done so far. And then something pops up and you're like, I want to now go down a rabbit hole of this. Yeah.
And I love that. I don't know. I like learning. That's been my favorite thing about this, is like having something to learn and research and just kind of like dig into, because I always like crave the acquisition of new information, even if I don't hold on to all of the information because my brain is like full of holes. But I like it. And there's just so much there.
Yeah. A lot of it is for you to interpret. Not everything is said by one person is correct versus another. It's made to be vague. And I think that is what excites us, especially as we've learned, is that, it sends us on a journey of, well, let me hear what they have to say, and then let me hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
Which I think is helpful, because that's kind of how you and I work in our life in general, is just we get excited about that kind of things and the knowledge.
Yeah, and looking for different perspectives on the same thing. Just being like, ooh.
We just did a new video on Legion of the Damned.
Ooh.
That's really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I keep forgetting. I always forget which faction I got in the
Me too.
quiz, but
I talked about it in a recent video and was like, I think this is what I got.
Yeah, but then I remember when I got it, I was like, this makes perfect sense, because it is literally how I play every video game, which is just like listening to all sides and trying to talk myself out of every situation, and no one quite knows if they're like whose side they're on, and I'm like, I love that shit, and I want to research more about them, but I keep forgetting what they were fucking called. Yeah, and it makes me crazy.
So when GW came out with their new Horus Heresy set that was going to come out, you could go onto the website and take a quiz. Yeah. And that is the quiz that we were talking about. Thank you so much, Louis,
we made all of the girls take it.
Yeah, so every single one of the girls took it, including the ones that like didn't know a lot about Warhammer. And we posted it in the Warhammer channel in our public Discord, though it's definitely long and buried now. But we did all have like a faction that we aligned with, which was really fun.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Thank you so much for that $10 super chat.
Thank you.
Luton's God Emperor series is a pinnacle of what you need to know about the Gold Daddy. It's so good.
I love that.
I think a lot of us have, even though we know that Bricky and Luton's videos, especially because we trust them and we know them and we've made good relationships with them, sometimes there are days where I want to go watch those videos, but then it's like, are we going to make content around it?
Yeah.
So it's hard.
It makes me nervous.
It's like, do I watch this so I know more now, or do I save it for later so you get to watch us learn and move together? Yeah. Legion of the Damned, like Legion of Ghost Riders without bikes. Okay, but fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Super rad.
Yeah.
Raven Guard. Raven Guard is cool as hell. Everyone wants to see y'all in Sisters of Battle geared. So many super chats.
Listen, we're saying Patreon, baby.
We
It's
can
the
make
best
it
way to
happen.
support us.
Mm-hmm,
Super chats are also extraordinarily helpful, though.
Yeah.
So we appreciate every last one of you. Thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you for everybody who's donated today. Honestly, thank you for everybody who's shown up for the premiere and hung out with us live and watched us do our thing.
Yeah.
We'll, of course, have more Warhammer Wednesday for you next week and the week after and the week after.
Yep.
As we always
Till
do.
we run out of shit to watch. And even then, we'll probably do something.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, thank you guys for another full great day. If you don't know and you're hanging out still, today is Sydney's birthday.
Yeah.
So if you head over to Twitch, we will be going live in just 30 minutes at 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and we will be all hanging out together and celebrating our girl.
Yeah.
So it would mean a lot if you guys popped in there. And even, like, I know a lot of people haven't talked in there or lurk, or you could first time chat and just say happy birthday.
Yeah.
It would mean a lot. Old.
Wow, Preds.
All right.
Band.
Bye, guys. Thanks
Bye,
so
we
much.
love you.
We love you.
Thank you for being here. Have a great rest of your day, my babies. I take the mouse and I push the button.
My babies. Did it work? Did you push it? There we go.